Welcome to Salon. Today, we're diving into a retail revolution that you've probably never even seen, but you might be using every single day. This is all based on a fantastic deep dive report by QinCe Consumer Research, and it uncovers China's dark store model. We're talking about a system that's totally changing our expectations for speed and kicking off what the report calls the minute-level consumption era.
So, I want you to forget everything you know about your local convenience store or the big supermarket. The next massive wave in retail isn't happening on some brightly lit main street. Nope, it's happening right here, in totally anonymous warehouses, tucked away in basements, and hidden in back alleys. This right here is the unseen engine of a whole new kind of retail that's built for one thing and one thing only: pure, unadulterated speed.
And just so you can grasp the scale we're talking about, this is not some tiny niche trend. One of the biggest players in the game, Meituan, already has over 50,000 of these dark stores across China. 50,000. And that number? It's growing at a pace that is just unbelievable.
So, what in the world is a dark store? And how did this seemingly simple idea manage to completely reshape the retail landscape in just a handful of years? All right, let's break it all down.
Okay, so this is it, the dark store. In Chinese, it's called Shandinzong, which, get this, literally translates to lightning warehouse. And that name tells you everything you need to know. The idea is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's a retail space with zero public storefront. It's purely online, it's open 24/7, and it's run by franchisees, all powered by a huge tech platform. And its number one most important promise: to get your order to your door in 30 minutes.
Now, the real genius of this model is how it's different from the older systems. See, instead of one company owning and operating everything, which we call a front warehouse model, the dark store is what they call asset light. The big platforms, they provide the app and the delivery network, but it's local entrepreneurs who actually own and run the warehouses. This franchise system, that's the secret sauce. That's what allows it to grow so incredibly fast.
And listen, this isn't just about getting late-night snacks anymore. The model is branching out, fast. First, you've got your comprehensive stores. Think of them as your mini supermarket on demand. Then you have the super profitable vertical stores. These specialize in things like high-end liquor or fancy cosmetics. And now, even huge brands like Sony and Miniso are jumping in, creating their own brand flagship dark stores to get their products into customers' hands in minutes.
So if this is a 100 billion yuan gold rush, who are the key players battling it out for control? Let's take a look at the battlefield.
Well, as you can see from this chart, it's not exactly a fair fight. The report calls the market one super, many strongs. Meituan, which already has this massive army of food delivery drivers, is the undisputed king with a staggering 70% of the market. Yet Taobao and JD.com are trying to carve out their own space, but let's be real. Right now, everyone is just playing in Meituan's world.
And right below those giant tech platforms, you have this whole army of franchise brands. I mean, just look at the leader, QinCe. They're running over 3,200 stores. That is a massive operation. And others have become these regional powerhouses, like Go, which is basically locked down Southwest China with over 750 locations. The scale of these individual franchisees is just mind-boggling.
The speed of this whole thing is what really gets me. Just think about it. Meituan only kicked this model off in 2020. 2 years later, specialized stores pop up. 2 years after that, you have brand flagships and 50,000 total locations. Then came the subsidy wars, where the platforms just started burning cash to get customers hooked. And the projection for 2027? Hitting the 100,000 store mark. That's an entire industry built from scratch in less than a decade.
Okay, so what's next? What does the road to 100,000 stores actually look like? Well, the report's predictions paint a picture of even more explosive growth.
I mean, just look at this chart. The growth curve is practically a vertical line. We're going from around 600 stores in 2020 to a projection of over 100,000 by 2027. That's a more than 160-fold increase. It's pretty obvious that both consumers and investors are all in on this model.
And all that growth in the number of stores? Well, it translates directly into some serious market value. The report's baseline guess is that the gross merchandise value, that's the total value of everything sold, is going to blow past 200 billion yuan by 2027. That officially cements instant retail as a major pillar of the entire consumer economy.
So what's the rocket fuel behind all this? The report points to 4 key things. First, it's us. Our habits have changed. We all have a buy now, use now mindset. Second, the platforms are pouring a ton of money into subsidies to keep us coming back. Third, they're pushing really hard into smaller cities where there's way less competition. And finally, they're constantly adding new and more expensive stuff to their digital shelves.
So, after going through all this data, what's the bottom line? What's the big takeaway? Well, the QinCe report boils this entire phenomenon down to 3 core findings that you absolutely need to know.
Okay, here are the 3 big ones. First, the asset-light franchise model is everything. It's the secret engine behind this entire revolution. Second, while selling you everyday items pays the bills, the real money is in those specialized vertical stores. Things like liquor, cosmetics, even adult products, they all have way higher profit margins. And third, the next big gold rush is happening in China's smaller cities. As the big cities get more crowded, these lower-tier markets are showing insane growth, like 54% order growth, and they are the key to the future.
And all of this leaves us with a huge, critical question for the future. When you can get almost anything you could possibly want delivered to your door in 30 minutes, what on earth happens to the traditional physical store? As retail stops being a place you go to and becomes a service that comes to you, how will the shops we know and love have to change just to survive?
陶醉沙龙，马年兴隆。